Hi, welcome to Midnight Farmhouse. I'm Leanne, and if you're new to my channel, I do cooking and bake from scratch, canning, and dehydrating videos. If that sort of thing interests you, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And make sure you're hitting that notification bell to be notified when I upload my next video. In today's video, we're going to pickle some beets using the Sweet Pickle beet recipe in the Complete Guide to Home Canning book. And we're also going to show you what to do when you don't have enough brine to cover your beets. Sometimes happens to me, and I wonder, there probably has to be somebody else that wants to know what the safe way is to remedy this problem. So stick around and I'll show you what to do. This video is part of Jarred Up July, hosted by Kettle Kitchen and Bloo Reliance. And the live stream giveaway is going to be on August 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you want to leave a heartfelt comment because 4Jar Lids is sponsoring this giveaway and you don't want to miss out. I'll leave a list to the collaborators down below so you can comment on those videos and increase your chances of winning some 4Jar Lids. Good luck, everybody. For this recipe, you're going to need 1 cup of water, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 2 sticks of cinnamon, 10 whole cloves. Now the directions tell you to put your spices in a cheesecloth and tie it up with twine, but I find these reusable brew bags to be perfect for this project. I'm going to leave a link in my description box for you to be able to go get your own. That might be even cheaper than what I bought. I find these to be very handy in canning. You'll need 2 1/2 cup of 5% distilled white vinegar. This is a publication from the Extension Office on the importance of food safety and vinegar. We will need 10 cups of prepared beets. I pulled these from my garden and I cut some of the stems off and left the roots on, and we're going to fill enough water to cover them, and we'll boil them for 20 to 40 minutes and pull the skins off. For this recipe, you can leave small ones whole, but for larger ones, you want to quarter them. Next, you will want to prepare your canner. I'm using my steam canner, and I just need to add 3 quarts of water. And you want to turn your stove on to get your steam canner warm, and I place my jars in there to keep them hot. Into a large stainless steel saucepan, you want to combine the vinegar, sugar, water, and your spice bag. You'll want to use a non-reactive spoon to dissolve your sugar. Either stainless steel or a wooden spoon will work just fine. Bring to a boil over medium-high heat, stirring to dissolve the sugar. Reduce the heat and boil gently for 15 minutes. So reduce the heat, and we're going to set a timer for 15 minutes. Alright, our 15 minutes is up, and we're going to fish our spice bag out of the liquid. Make sure we retain some of that moisture that the bag has. Then we're going to add our beets and bring this back to a boil. Okay, we're back up to a boil. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use our slotted spoon, scoop out our beets, and put those into jars. I have my jars in my steam canner already. I have 3 quarts of water in there to get my jars hot. Okay, I have my station set up. I have my rings, my lids sitting in warm water. I have my magic wand to get them out of. And I have my funnel, my debubbler, my jar lifter, and my ladle. So we're going to carefully take our beets and ladle them into the jar. And we're going to continue to fill each of the jars. This recipe makes 6 pints. So if the recipe says it makes pints and not quarts, you cannot make quarts because that recipe has not been tested for quarts. But if you wanted to do half pints, you sure can do that and process them for the same times. if it does not give you a time to process that. And you want to make sure you have a towel that you don't love, but I never have a problem with beet stains. I don't know what everybody else has problems with, but I never noticed. Maybe I'm so used to other stains that beet stains probably don't bother me. What's your favorite style jar? I love the smooth ones. These smell amazing. Okay, we want to ladle our brine into the jars and leave a 1/2 inch head space. And while I'm filling these, I'm going to make sure my steam canner is set at level 6 on my stove. Okay, since I did not have enough brine for these 2 jars, I had to make a second batch of brine. So what we're going to do now is re-add our brine and beets back into the pot to warm up the beets and the brine. Then we'll bring this back to a boil and put them in the jars, because we don't want to mess with the acidity level of the beets. And while I was making the brine, I contacted my good friend Linda Tula Curates, who's a master food preservationist, for her opinion on what to do, because I want to make sure you're following along, and I'm sure you're going to have the same problem as me when it comes to pickling stuff. It will be okay. We all have problems, and we need to learn how to fix them the right way. When you don't have enough brine, you got to put it all back in the pot and reheat it after you've made that second thing of brine. It'll be okay. So I'll be back when this comes back up to a boil, which shouldn't take long, and we'll refill the jars. Alright, so we're going to start the process again. We've got our jar, our funnel, and our slide spoon, and we're going to place our beets into the jar. And continue filling the rest of the jars. Now we're going to put the brine into the jars, and we will definitely have enough. Let me turn this burner off. All right. All right, now we need to debubble and make sure nothing is above your liquid. If you don't get the air out of the jar, you'll have siphoning, and that will decrease the value of your food, meaning you'll have to try to use it sooner than later. But it's still good. Don't throw it away. I always try to do one on each side, like a cross. And since these were previously cooked, they should have some air removed from them. Measure your head space, which will be a 1/2 inch. And since I still have more brine, we'll add more. So we've debubbled, made sure we have had 1 inch head space. Then you want to wipe the rims of your jars. And I like to change the paper towel each time I wipe a new rim, because I don't want to be smearing what was already on the towel onto the next rim. Alright, then we'll place our 4-jar lid on each top. And place our bands on fingertip tight. You don't want to crank them down because then the lids might buckle. We'll throw that one away since it's not going on right. If they don't go exactly on, it's a sign you need to get rid of that ring. Alright, we'll put our jars in the steam canner. And make sure you don't tip your jar as you're putting them in, because you don't want your liquid to escape. And as you're taking them out, you want them to be perfectly level. Then we're going to put our lid on and we'll wait for our needle to get up to the dark green spot. And we'll turn our stove up to medium high to get it there. Then when it comes into the green zone there, we'll process for 30 minutes. And make sure the lid's on. Alright, our timer's going off for our 30 minutes of processing. So we'll turn the timer off and turn the burner off and let it sit for 5 minutes. And we want to remove the lid. To let it gradually cool down. Alright, it's been 5 minutes. And we'll remove the lid. As you're taking them out of the canner, you want to make sure they're level and not tipping them over. And you just want to listen for that pop. There's no, it will tell you that your job is well done and you can enjoy these all winter long. Then in 24 hours, you want to wash these with vinegar and soapy water. Make sure you check the seals, that they're on good and tight. And store them in a cool, dark place until they're ready to be eaten.